We are talking about inflation dropping, and will those interest rates actually go up? And what does this actually mean for us? I'm here with Jon Lawton from OpenAir Advisors. John, don't mind us this morning. We've got a few little things going on here with the teleprompter, but we are talking about those interest rates dropping.
Yeah.
What do you think is really the big question that a lot of people have on their minds this morning when it comes to that? Are we in some sort of uncertainty?
Well, inflation's been dropping for the last year. In fact, inflation came in at 3%. This is the lowest reading we've had since March of 2021. So that's good news.
Wow.
Interest rates are starting to come down. Or I'm sorry, inflation is starting to come down. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But this is good news. If we were talking a year ago, in fact, you and I did talk a year ago in June, and at that time, inflation was 9%. Oof. And during that time period, over the last year, we've seen the price of gasoline go up, come back down. We've seen the price of eggs. That was headline news there for a while.
Sure was.
That's come back down. One of the sticky ones has been used car sales. And a year ago, when you and I were talking, that was 30% of that CPI number. Today, that's really starting to come down, and so that's one of those last things that we have to get rid of to get that number to the Fed's target of 2%.
Right, a used car was like super expensive, almost as much as a brand new one. So now they're going down. How might this affect interest rates, as you were talking about?
So the Federal Reserve is set to meet this month. We expect them to raise interest rates one more time, so 1/4% one more time. After that, we expect, and experts would agree, we expect interest rates to pause there. So that's really where we are.
And that's kind of some hopeful news as well. How could this affect businesses, both big and small?
Yeah, so I think the good news is with businesses big and small, obviously trying to plan for those longer term expenses has been really difficult in this rising rate environment. How are we going to finance those different things? As interest rates pause, that gives us a better idea for business planning, what that's going to look like. Most of us expect interest rates to start to come down over the next 6 months and a year. So if you're looking for some of that long-term planning, if you're buying a house, if you're buying a CD, I work with a lot of retirees, and right now, if we're talking about interest rates, if you were looking at CDs, the difference between a 6 month and a year, we're choosing longer right now. We'd rather keep those interest rates and lock them up as long as we can so that you continue having that. Most people would opt for the shorter term rate. Right now, there's no advantage for you going longer, whether it's a 6 month or a 1 year instrument. Rates are basically flat all the way across the board. So
you know your stuff. You know your stuff. Before we go here, John, how can people actually protect their personal finances right now?
Sure. I think, and we've talked about this before, but making sure that we have that 3 to 6 months worth of savings set up, make sure that we are paying ourselves first. So we're contributing to those 401k plans, and we are paying ourselves first, making sure that we're getting all of that, the free money.
Saving money versus inflation there.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a budgeting technique, but cut down on unnecessary spending. One of the things I think is really interesting, do this for yourself, is look at all the subscription payments that you have and make sure that we don't have any of those unnecessary payments. Strategize your savings. Again, make sure that you're paying yourself first, and that we are making sure that we're contributing to those financial plans. Shop your bills, and that was one of the things that was on the screen there just a minute ago. Between the electricity bills or any of those others, just make sure that we're shopping those, that you're getting the best deal.
Aware of what's going on.
Exactly.
All right.
And your consumers can do a lot of those things to help themselves monthly, keep up with their budget, keep up with their spending. Okay, John, thank you so much. A wealth of information. We're going to be sure we get that on our website as well at WFAA.com. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daybreak. And coming up here, a very inspirational story that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back after this break.